Oh my God, it's Friday. I just realized. Oh my God. Oh my God. It's it's Friday the 13th. But don't spread the word because things could get really ugly. Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines. This is our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we take a look at local news, state news, and national news, along with everything we can find out about Puerto Vallarta, so that we can have an amazing life here in town, amazing life in town as a community of English speaking locals. There is so much interesting stuff in the news today. It's not even funny. I am itching to get started because there's good news, there's bad news, there's tomala news, there's everything. So it's going to be an interest, and it's going to be an explainer show, because a lot of these news that we're going to talk about today have context added to them, and they probably won't make a lot more. They probably won't make a lot of sense unless we explain some of the context behind them. And what else do we have? We have a mini Spanish lesson that is related to a T-shirt that I bought on Monday when I wasn't in town. And yes, I bought this T-shirt as well. Thank you very much for the T-shirt comments. We will get to your comments in the second half of the broadcast, as always. But please know that my name is Paco. If this is the first time that you join us, we do this every morning except for Sundays. We get together, we check on everybody's well-being, and we see what everybody's up to, and we all try to exchange helpful, nurturing information so that we can get on with our lives. Mostly here, but I know that some of you are watching from elsewhere. You're missing Puerto Vallarta probably, so it's nice to be that connection between the destination and wherever you are. So, again, if you are new, please feel free to let us know by writing the word new in your comments. And if there's something truly important that you want to bring up during the broadcast, please add the letter Q at the beginning of your comment, and we will get to it in the second half of the broadcast. Am I missing any? Oh, yes, this is very important. Before I forget, a very kind member of the cluster got in touch with me privately yesterday and said, I don't want to be publicly the one that tells on other people, but I see a lot of businesses not doing what they're supposed to do. What can I do? Well, the answer is quite simple. Reglamentos has a telephone number, and this is a number that we call so that we can let our wonderful city officials know that a local business is misbehaving. So there you have it. You can call Reglamentos at 322-224-0918. You can probably also call 911, although I'm not sure that they take those kinds of calls there. But Reglamentos is the office at City Hall that grants or removes permissions for businesses to operate. So this would be the number to call. And now that I've shared that with you, let me now get into the news. Yes, let's go there. Well, Governor Enrique Alfaro was in the city yesterday to oversee a few important matters, and boy, did he have a lot to say about a lot of things. We're going to break this down into 5 separate news items. First, the regional hospital, then the Vallarta Nayarit Metropolitan Agenda, then the local health board, then public transportation, and last but not least, real estate developments as they relate to permits and such. And watch me get that stupid green. Ay, tómala, real estate developers. Things are going to get dicey. But let's start with the regional hospital. Governor Alfaro joined interim mayor Jorge Quintero to oversee progress in the renovation of Puerto Vallarta's regional hospital, a project that it is currently in its second phase and 88% complete. In the first phase, 45 million pesos were invested to improve operating rooms, emergency areas, labs, x-ray equipment, the main access, and such. In the second phase, which is currently being undertaken, 42.4 million pesos have been invested so far to improve the newborn intensive care unit and other infrastructure areas of the hospital that will improve current services greatly. A third renovation phase is already scheduled for next year with a 30 million peso fund that will complete the project. And this is all great news. This one does not need any kind of explaining other than it is nice to know and comforting that, oh, Rita, you're here. I have news that relate to you. This is great. I'm sorry. Paco gets distracted. Anyhow, this doesn't require much explaining because it is what it is. It's just great to know that our state is taking care of the public hospitals. So that makes me very, very happy. Secondly, Governor Alfaro also met with Nayarit Governor-elect Miguel Angel Navarro, and both agreed to support the metropolitan agenda to benefit both states and both destinations through a permanent and respectful relationship. This includes working together in projects that would benefit both states greatly, such as the completion of the Federación Bridge. And this is when we start getting into explainer mode. Let us pull out our handy dandy Google map. Here it is, Google Maps. So we know there are new highways being built, and that once all these highways are built, all the traffic that is coming from points north will come down this way, and a little bit will come down this way through the mountain highway, but most of it will come down through the new and improved highway. But it'll be kind of like a funnel once it gets into the bay. So one of the projects that is currently being worked on is the Federación Bridge that I just mentioned. Let me find it in the map. Okay, so here we are. We are at the Mezcales intersection, and I hope you know where that is. And if you go into Mezcales and then come down this road, which I'm sure you can see my arrow. I hope you can see my arrow. This road, which is called Avenida Federación, continues south, and it gets into this point where it stops just north of the border between Jalisco and Nayarit. Well, this is where this new Puente Federación or Federación Bridge is supposed to be built, but it hasn't been completed. I assume, since there's nothing north of that road, that somehow a connection will also be made here heading north so that I hope this is making sense. So that when all the traffic is coming from points north, there is more than just one road available for traffic. You know, some vehicles may choose to take the main road that we have. Other vehicles that are construction or public transportation related may choose to may choose to go through the new road that hasn't been completed. So this is important infrastructure that would benefit both the state of Nayarit and the state of Jalisco greatly. Now, the second part of this explainer situation has to do with the fact that we are a destination that is located in two states, Nayarit North and Puerto Vallarta South, obviously, and the joint development and prosperity, and successful development of both joined destinations has always been challenging by different parties governing both states. So in the past, there's been all kinds of handshaking and polite commitments made by governors and mayors from both the states, Jalisco and Nayarit, but in reality, they let their parties' priorities get in the way. So apparently, this time around, Governor Alfaro is in the best disposition to work with Governor-elect Miguel Ángel Navarro to ensure that whatever planning or development goes on that affects both destinations will take place in a successful manner. You may not even think about this on your daily basis. We don't think about these things, but if we had the time and the resources, we could come up with at least a dozen projects or ideas that did not prosper because of partisan division between the two states. So this could be a very important development in years to come. And we have to be thinking about the future, of course. Moving right along, next area to talk about has to do with the local health board. As you know, a local health board was established to oversee the challenges Puerto Vallarta is facing as far as the pandemic is concerned. The board has been meeting every week for 5 weeks on Thursdays. And yesterday, for the first time, and we talked about this briefly, for the first time in moving forward, the health board became intermunicipal. That is, it involves health professionals, mandataries, and representatives of the business community on both sides of the state border. Of course, the states will continue to make separate decisions, as a state would, but the simple fact that both municipalities are represented in the meeting will facilitate a strategy that benefits all involved, or at least that's the theory of it all. The fourth area that we want to talk about has to do with public transportation. Again, a little bit of explanation is due. As you know, public transportation in Puerto Vallarta has been a huge eyesore and a challenge for the city. As of late, the biggest problem has come from Unibus PV, the company that provides the bus service to our city. They have been reluctant to operate more units, arguing that it cuts into their profit. Meanwhile, buses that are supposed to operate only with people sitting down, in other words, during the pandemic, there are supposed to be no people standing up in public buses, but the buses are frequently overcrowded during peak hours. Well, Governor Alfaro took a stance yesterday and sent an ultimatum to all companies with public transportation concessions, but in reality, he was probably just referring to Unibus PV. And what he said to the companies was, if you cannot handle the job, step aside, relinquish the concession so that a different company can provide the service adequately. In other words, Governor Alfaro said, tómala, get out of the way. There you go. And then last but not least, oh no, there's more. There's more. There's more. Then there's Amapas, the development that is selling out fast, when in fact it is not. It is crumbling. 2 days after the landslide, the state government has tasked itself with reviewing all developments currently under construction in Puerto Vallarta to ensure that they fall within allowed environmental guidelines and have all permits in order. In addition, Alfaro, the governor, will meet with recently elected Nayarit authorities and authorities in Bahía de Banderas in particular to ensure that real estate developers' private interests do not take precedence over what's good for the inhabitants and the destination. I quote Governor Alfaro now by saying, I think this incident presents a perfect opportunity to adjust two areas that are quite important to me. the orderly construction of what is already taking place and the planning of Puerto Vallarta's future, he said. Puerto Vallarta will continue to grow, but it has to be in an orderly fashion with respect to our environmental assets and above all things without putting anyone's lives at risk and without giving into the ambition of real estate interests. Tómala. There you go. Last but not least, given the fact that a lot of hanky-panky goes on when government transitions take place, that is, when we go from one administration to the next, that's usually when the crazy permits start appearing out of nowhere. And since the people that are leaving the administration are no longer there, they're gone. So, last but not least, as Puerto Vallarta's current government is about to transition into the new administration, Governor Alfaro stressed the fact that he will not protect anyone when it comes to projects that are lacking permits, licenses, environmental impact studies, such as Serena, the Amapas project that is selling fast. Wink, wink. This is important given the fact that in the past it has been during these government administrations, during these government administration transitions that all sorts of permits and unlawful situations have taken place. So, tómala, real estate. No, I'm not implying that all real estate is evil, but boy, some of you behave in a very colorful way, let me tell you. And now, let's look at the weather. Did we do it? Is Brittany finally free now? That's what Snarky Weather is asking for today. And we will explain Tómala in a second, Anna. Hold on, because it's become like the expression of the week. Let me get to the weather, and I will explain Tómala. Because it's something that we're probably going to be using quite frequently here. But first, it is 28 degrees, feels like 32. Fahrenheit is 82 degrees. Humidity is at 85%. Not so bad for a Friday. So the weather forecast for the weekend calls for rain in the evening today and overnight with a high temperature of 32, low temperature of 24. Saturday, tomorrow, we'll have rain in the evening and overnight, high temperature of 31, low temperature of 24. And Sunday, we're going to have rain and humidity throughout the day with light and variable winds, high temperature of 31, and low temperature of 23. Tómala is like saying in English, and I'm going to use a very bad expression. Actually, I'm going to tell you an anecdote that I heard from Gary Burton himself. Gary Burton is a very, very famous Grammy Award-winning vibraphone player that was my friend, my teacher and mentor when I was at Berkeley. And Gary used to tell a story about a performance that he was doing. I forget if he was playing with Chick Corea on the piano or Makoto Ozone on the piano. And of course, being jazz musicians, they were improvising, and when first the pianist would improvise, and then Gary would be on his vibraphone and he would improvise. And of course, musicians love to have that kind of jazz improvisational conversation with one another. And things were getting really intense, like both virtuosos were really, really doing a good set. They were playing, they were in the zone and stuff like that. So Gary had just finished his improvisation on his vibraphone, and he turned around to the pianist and he said, "Take that, motherfucker." So "take that, motherfucker" is the English equivalent of saying "tómala." You say "tómala" when somebody gets what they deserve. And that's why we've been saying "tómala" a lot recently. And that's the explanation of the expression. And now I'm going to continue with a few more headlines before we get into a chit-chat business. And I see Anna has another question. We're going to get into that one too. But let me finish with the broadcast news and headlines, and then I will take a look at everything you have. First of all, oh no, Eric! It's Berklee College of Music in in Boston, not Berkeley, California. People get that confused quite a bit. Anyhow, moving right along, Linda. Yesterday we spoke about Linda, the tropical storm that is in the vicinity. It has now become a hurricane, but fear not. As we mentioned yesterday, it is heading away from the Mexican coast, and this will result in nothing more than more rain, and we like that very much. The maquette or reproduction of the Templo Mayor being erected in Mexico City, Zocalo, is being inaugurated tonight, and it promises to be truly spectacular. If you look at this photograph of it, it is all painted white. You might think, well, that's boring. And it isn't, because what they're going to do is they're going to do one of those light projection chingaderas, and a big audiovisual presentation, light video mapping, they call it, video mapping, where they're going to project all kinds of things into the maquette, and it's going to be stunning, I'm sure. And then look at some of the lighting installations that have been put in surrounding buildings. And this, of course, celebrates the 500th anniversary of the fall of Tenochtitlan and the beginning of Mexico City. So I hope we can find this on television, or I hope we can find videos of it, because it's going to be truly, truly spectacular. And we'll be talking about the fall of Tenochtitlan in the next couple of days so that we can get some more context about the historical importance about this, regarding this celebration. Moving right along, we know that cruise ships are coming up. Cruise ships are coming back to the bay in less than 2 weeks. And I found this headline that talks about what it's like to go on board a cruise today. And I got curious about reading it. But the one thing that I was the most curious about, and the one thing that stayed with me and made me decide to share this with you today, is this one statement saying, Carnival Cruise Line and several other lines announced they would require all guests, vaccinated or unvaccinated, to wear masks in all public areas on their ships. Now, imagine that for a second, spending thousands of dollars to get on a boat, to have to be masked all the time. I mean, this is why I've been advocating for myself and for my friends. If we're going to go away, let's go to Maito, or let's go to towns in the middle of nowhere where there is such a small amount of density of people that you don't have to wear the mask all the time. I mean, certainly if you're standing in a beach where there's nobody around you, you can take the mask off. But just the thought of going on a cruise ship with the expectation that I have to wear my mask in all public areas, forget it. It's not for me. So thank you very much for your idea of raising funds to send me on a cruise. I will politely decline. It's not for me. Last but not least, I want to tell you that Respect is coming to town. I was thrilled to get into the upcoming movies page in Cinepolis, and Respect is coming to town on September 9th. There it is. Of course, we are talking about the Aretha Franklin biopic starring Jennifer Hudson. And if you are not familiar with the film, I'll leave you with the trailer with the show notes. Here it is, Respect, along with all kinds of other cheesy movies that we're not interested in. But seeing this movie is going to be a highlight for me, and we should all go together. I say we will announce when we're going, and if we can all have a nice RESPCT at the movie theater, we will share that moment with social distancing as determined by the movie theater, of course. And I'm going to leave you with the trailer. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Oops. When did I mute myself by mistake? I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Let me see. What did you miss? What did you miss? Okay. I was talking about my t-shirt, and And then I said that I bought it at Optima, and I mentioned Rita Myers because Rita told me one day that she shops at that store. So I went shopping at Optima on Monday, and I bought this T-shirt. But then I found another T-shirt that I was waving. This was the waving toy, Dave Schwartz. And before I show it to you, I have to share a small Spanish lesson with you. And I'm going to put some words up on the screen, and there they are. Cuarentena, cuarentona, and cuarentón. I'm going to explain these words. Cuarentena, of course, means quarantine. Cuarentona has to do, in English, if somebody's in their 40s, we say somebody is in their 40s. In Spanish, the word for 40 is cuarenta. So a person that is in their 40s is either a cuarentón, if that person is a boy, or a cuarentona if that person is a girl. If you were in your 50s, you would be like, I am a cincuentón because I am in my 50s. So, I walk into Optima and they have galore t-shirts galore for sale. And I found this one that I just had to have. It made me think of my beloved Logan because the illustration, oh my God, I cannot even fit. There it is. It says cuarentena. It says cuarentena on the top. And it shows a guy going, no, thank you. And then it shows cuarentona on the bottom. And it shows a guy smiling. Cuarentena and cuarentona. Now, the funny thing about the T-shirt is that buy the book because it's a guy on the illustration. The illustration should say cuarentón because he's a boy. But it is very gay in Spanish. And I'm not suggesting you do that. And I'm going to tell you why. In Spanish, it's very gay to switch your gender endings in words when you're being queer with your friends. But you have to be queer to do this. It's kind of like when black people or African Americans say the N-word to one another. You know, you cannot just go into the game and think that you're going to be cool. So it is very common for us gay boys to call each other feminine words. So to see the T-shirt that has cuarentona, just made me laugh. And I had to buy it. And the best part of it is that, and this is why I love Optima. Look at this price tag. 40 pesos. 40 pesos. That's $2. $2. So I left the store totally happy with my new Cuarentena Cuarentona t-shirt. And that's the end of the broadcast. We can now officially move on to your comments. Yes. Okay, so here we go. From the beginning, I am having a great time. I hope you're having a good time. Let's see. Our usual bunch of great good mornings. Thank you very much to each and every one. Dave says con ardillitas with squirrels, and I don't know if he's throwing hints at Christy because we know that Christy's always rescuing and feeding homeless squirrels. Let me see what else we have here. Oh, Scott, that is such a sweet statement. I would like to say the same thing about you. I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you personally that I can recall in my podhead brain, but thank you very much for that sweet thought. Good training for moving to Puerto Vallarta. I love it. I never thought of Coffee and Headlines as a training ground, but Sharon, this is a place for you to learn about how us locals live, think, feel, maneuver, and otherwise carry on with the best of spirits while we live here. Please feel free to ask any kind of questions you may have. And you have nothing to worry about, Charlotte, because in Mexico, it is Tuesday the 13th, the day that we worry about. So because we are south of the border of a certain country up there where they do take Friday the 13th seriously, today, it's Tuesday, so it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Let's see what else we have. You know, I never bought a shirt this color before. So thank you very much for your beautiful remarks. Let's see. Jeannie's getting into the Tomala spirit. Yes, Tomala is a great word. Would you appreciate Butterfingers being delivered next week? Gina Poffenberger Spears. My God, what a beautiful name. Gina Poffenberger Spears will be flying. Well, Mike, that would be lovely, but please do not go out of your way. Fortunately, we have a good stash of Butterfingers right now, but what a great last name, Mike. Poffenberger. I love it. Thank you very much for the kind offer. Um, Question: is the reglamentos number valid in Bahía de Banderas too? The answer is no, Amanda, because that reglamentos number has to do with Puerto Vallarta. Unfortunately, I don't know the reglamentos number for Bahía de Banderas. Uh, Tómala real estate, says Suzanne Zualo Macmillan. Yes, tómala. Let's see. My husband and I were engaged on a Friday the 13th. He thought I wouldn't suspect. How many years ago was that, Suzanne? And I truly, truly hope you've had a successful, wonderful marriage. Let's see. Da-da-da-da-da. James asked, Paco, where is the best place to find monthly rentals for two couples for 2 months each? James and Lee from Canada. James, I have no idea. Being a local, I'm not concerned with that, but there are so many real estate websites, agencies, pages. It's not even funny. There are a lot of resources out there that have to do with finding places to live, which we don't concern ourselves here. That said, if you want to find out specific neighborhoods that you should be looking at, like according to the lifestyle that you're looking to pursue, there we can help you. But again, please forgive me. We cater more to the wants and needs of locals, not short-term residents. But I am sure you will not lack options out there. Oh dear. Logan had to use the little boy's room, the LBR. I call it the LBR at the regional hospital. And it's nice to see, I have not been to the regional hospital, but it's nice to see that the improvements are noticeable. Of course, girls don't get to use the LBR room. They get to use the LGR room. The new road will speed travel to and from Guadalajara, improving tourism from the big city. Yes, Harold, this is true, but it's a mixed blessing because once you get all those cars that are coming into the city, we still have the narrow streets in town and we still have problems with parking, and all the cars that are going through the city to continue points south don't have a speedy way to circumvent the city. And these are the future middle term and long term challenges that we're thinking about here. There needs to be more buses in PV. Yes, that's what the governor was talking about. Unibus, shit or get off the pot. Amen to that. Let's see what else we have. Did the Jalisco governor say anything about the proposed bus transfer depot to be built south of the Ameca River Bridge? Not that I am aware of, Harold, but if we hear news about that, we'll be happy to broadcast it. Let's see. Anna, we explained Tómala, and Kimberly gave us the short version of it, take that. This is very, very true. I added the mother fracker word at the end because that's my favorite anecdote of that expression. Leave Brittany alone, says Javier. Fine, I have no quarrels with Brittany. And then Anna Sparks brings up a toda madre. A toda madre is something that is so wicked cool, wicked awesome, just amazing. A toda madre is not rude. It's not. Could I say a toda madre in front of my parents? Yes, I could. Yes, I mean, a toda madre is definitely dinner table allowed. And your local friends are probably laughing because it's fun to hear people from other countries all of a sudden blast these very local colloquialisms, which is why I derive so much pleasure with sharing colorful language with you from time to time. I just wish I could see the expression in your Spanish teachers' faces when you come up with things like a toda madre or tómala or chingaderas and things like that. Karen asks, is it spelled tomala? And Karen, you get a 10 because that is precisely the way you spell the word. Some people might say tomala, other people might say tomale, which is essentially the same thing. Tomale is also something that you say to someone that is a reluctant drinker. You know, it's like if you're trying to horribly and shamelessly encourage somebody to do shots or drink fast, you can say, tomale, 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 because we got to go. Tomale, tomale, drink fast, because we got to get shit faced. Let's see what else. Retroactive investigation into Molino de Agua. Oh, that is such a done deal. It's not even funny. And it was so murky at the time, Dave. It's not even funny. I was there. I was there. I was there. Let's see. I finally figured out how to pronounce Kamala, and now I have to work on Tomala. Well, they're kind of related, so they're very similar. So there you have it. Let's see what else we have. Looking forward to hearing about the upcoming celebration. Thank you very much. We will definitely do our Tenochtitlan research. We've talked about it before, but I'm always happy to talk about the history of Mexico again. No way. Are you serious? Bad news for one of the Carnival ships today. 26 people all tested positive while on board. See, that's why, it's like, no, thank you. Not for me. Ooh. But you know what? At the same time, Charlotte, it is bad news because they tested positive, but it is good news that the ships are now having the infrastructure like daily tests and all kinds of chingaderas so that if that is the case, it does not spread. So, no, I would not want to be in a ship. Then, which one is correct, K or T? Well, K is for the Vice President of the United States, and T is for the colorful metaphor that we've been using here in Spanish, because tomala comes from the word tomar, which means to take. So when you say in English, take that, in Spanish you say tomala. Nothing to do with the Vice President. They just sound similar. If videos found of the audiovisuals, please share. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be broadcast on internet because I'm sure there's going to be an elaborate ceremony. And of course, all the audiovisuals that they're going to be presenting have to do with explaining the history of the fall of Tenochtitlan and the rise of Mexico City. So it'll be very exciting. Ding, da, ding, dun, 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 dun. No sound, no sound, no sound, no sound, no sound. Oh, Stephanie, I had dinner with Aretha Franklin at the Waldorf Astoria in New York City. That sounds exciting. No sound, no sound, no sound. Yes, I must have pushed a button by accident. My bad. No sound, no sound, no sound, no sound. Charlotte says, wouldn't that be a fun way to show our RESPECT for each other? I'm in. Okay, deal. Whenever the movie starts, I'll go and get tickets. I'll let you know when I got my tickets. And if you want to join, it'll be a lot of fun to do that together, distanced as the movie theater determines. But I am so definitely there. It's not even funny. Let's see. I showed you the waving toy. Lip reading is not my forte either, Christy. Dale asks what movie. That is Respect. The biography of Aretha Franklin. Rita says, yay, Optima. Yes, I thought about you, and I think it's awesome when we think about our friends. Always let you know your friends that you're thinking about them. You'll feel better after the fact. And I know that because I got together last night for dinner with a very dear friend from my childhood that I had not seen since 2004. I had dinner with him and his lovely fourth wife and their kids, and it was great. It is great to remember friends from the past and to keep them present in our memories. Let's see what else we have. Oh, that's rapper Drake. Okay. Little do I know, but if Logan hasn't already taken them, oh, Logan has taken him. That guy is my future ex-husband Drake. Fine, be that way. Little that I know about popular culture. My favorite Spanish lesson: the difference between peor es nada and nada es peor. Same words and completely opposite meanings. Absolutely agree. We will explain that one of these days because it is a little bit elaborate. And I'm looking at the time. Um, could it also mean that he is interested in women, gay men in their 40s? Well, I don't know. I just think it was cute. And it was 40 pesos and it was orange, one of my two favorite colors, orange and green. So how could I say no? Um, let's see what else. Uh, I love this one because I'm reading your comments out of sync and out of time. So when Charlotte says, I never knew that, Paco, thanks for the info. I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're welcome. That's what we're here for. Uh, let's see what else we have. Where did you say you bought those wonderful T-shirts? Okay, this was at Optima. Optima has two stores, and they're a clothing manufacturer. You can see that from their no, you cannot see that from their label, but they have two stores. One is in Macro Plaza, where there is a Walmart, and the other one is right in I think it's Juarez Street, like half a block away from City Hall, from the main plaza. And I think we're good to go. Yes, we're good to go. Thank you very much for joining us in this very, very fun Coffee and Headlines. At least it was fun for me. Next time we get together will be tomorrow, unless you skip a day. And let's get together whenever you want. I'm going to be here tomorrow, and I hope to see you then. Between now and then, stay happy, stay kind, stay healthy, stay in good humor. And last but not least, stay in touch. Have a great one.